What up, what up, what up? Welcome back to the Bad Podcast. Brad and Dawain back in here for another episode of the Bad Podcast. Bad Brad. What's going on, brother? What you got going on?
Hey man, it's the month of May and it's a really important time to talk mental health. And we've talked about mental health in the past. And I wanna relate it to my book, Prep, Rep, Repeat, and talk about some things that we can do proactively that will sort of douse that mental instability, that uh, mental what I'm drawing a blank mental illness. So hey guys, let's talk about it. Remember, you are capable of emerging from darkness and finding your way into the light. All it takes is the first step forward. Yeah, I couldn't get out of my own way. Days turned into weeks and weeks turned into months as I found myself drowning in a sea of mental anguish. Finally, I arrived at a crucial resolution. I had to redefine who I wanted to become. I resolved that my past accomplishments would no longer shackle me or hold me back from pursuing new goals. I was done reminiscing about my Iron Man and I was ready to move forward.
Let's get it. My mic was muted.
Are you ready? Are you ready?
Be like what it look like, what it do back in here. Another episode of the Bad Podcast. Brad and Dawain coming to you. Not live, but when you're watching this and listening to this is a Monday, man. And like Brad mentioned, we are in the middle of the mental health month, man. So we definitely going to talk about that. But before we do, man, I want to plug 28 Motivate, man, the regular E2M program. We always talk about premium. Premium is I always tell people when we say E2M premium, we're not saying it's tougher. We're saying it's premium quality. It's quality, high quality workouts and things like that. But on the mental health side, in E2M's 28 Motivate, we actually have 4 mental health coaches, and each day they get on live and they talk you through mental health issues, whether it's eating or dealing with conflict or whatever it is. This is a session that people usually pay for, but it's all inclusive inside of the package of the 28 Motivate. So head on over to e2mfitness.com to check that out if you want to sign up for it. And 28 Motivate is more or less people that want to change their lifestyle, want to lose some weight, want to get things in the right track, and a lot of that starts with the mental. So speaking of that, with that segue, Brad, let's jump into it, brother.
Oh, you mentioned people pay big bucks
Oh
for
yeah.
the mental health coaching that we're offering as that
Oh
big
yeah.
nutshell packet. People pay big dollar bills, and I've listened to some of our mental health coaches, and they're just absolutely phenomenal. So that's our
Mm-hmm.
shameless plug. But I want to talk some real life skills, real life principles, standards, I guess, that we could live by and really introduce into our lives to sort of come out of those dark corners of the world. And I mentioned it from my book there. That was page 181 out of Prep Rep Repeat. I
Mm-hmm.
did find myself in darkness. And a lot of times we find ourselves in darkness because of living in the past, right? And I was living in the past and I was living off of a high. A lot of times
Mm.
we think, oh man, I was living off a defeat, living off loss, but I was actually living off of a high. But I was shackled to that past version, and I wasn't taking those steps forward to progress or proceed in the life's journey. So one thing that you need to do on a daily basis is take those steps forward as far as nutrition goes, as far as physical activity goes. These are the two basic building blocks for getting yourself out of those dark corners. What you put in your body, what you feed your mind, even. And what you're doing as far as physical activity goes. And you're mentioning 28 Motivate prime time. I still do a lot of the old school circuits. Like I do and I don't enjoy them because they are tough. They are tough. They're as tough as you make them, right? They're as tough as you
Yeah.
make them. But I enjoy doing those old school circuits. So physical activity. If you're getting between 20 and 30 minutes of physical activity a day, guys, you're literally part of a 5% group because they say that less than 5% of people in the world do 20 minutes of physical activity 5 to 7 days a week. That's like mind blowing to me. Like
Yeah.
less than 5%. That's mind-blowing. And if you can do 20 to 30 minutes of physical activity a day, that's huge. That's absolutely huge. And the other one is nutrition. What you're putting in your body. I always like to say color your plate, and I don't mean get the Sharpie boy out and start coloring your plate. I mean put some colors on there as far as vegetable goes, as far as fruits go. If you look at your plate and it's yellows and browns, get some different colors in there. Get some reds, in peppers. Get some greens and peppers and lettuce, and some oranges. Color your plate. Some purples. Get some cabbage boy on there. Color your plate. So nutrition and physical activity. I'll pass it off to you, but those are the two basic building blocks to bringing yourself out of mental instability.
And he don't mean Skittles either, Don't
Hey, taste the rainbow.
taste the rainbow, baby. Yo, so that's that is so true. It's those basic principles that help on so many levels when it comes to the mental health aspect of it. Things that are often neglected and overlooked. As simple as working out. Let's kind of dig in there, man. There's so much science about the endorphins that's released, about how the mood is increased. Even the boss man said it helps him with PTSD and anxiety. There's so much that comes from working out that helps with the mental. We even talked about it last week. We see the guy in the gym with the hoodie and the headphones, like his mental issues going on right there. Like, he's processing, and that's how a lot of people process, and they kind of get over stuff. But when that blood flow starts to pump through your body and through your brain and release all of those different hormones into the right places and help balance you out, it helps with sleep. It helps with just a whole lot of stuff, man. So I really hope people, that if you're listening and that's one of the issues, we're not saying it's to solve all be all, but taking that step in itself is going to help you mentally when it comes to just trying to overcome any kind of depression, any kind of anxiety. Being physically active is just one of those things. Is one of those home remedies that anybody can do. Because Brad, you're a runner, I'm a walker, but there's nothing like a nice walk to kind of clear your mind. I do it all the time, man. We're blessed to be able to work from home. Like, if I'm in here and it's a fog going on, or I'm stuck on something, man, I'll hit the block, man. I got a loop, in my neighborhood, and just getting out there and just breathing the air and getting my lungs pumping and getting a walk. There's something about it, man, and it's not something. It's how we was created. We was created to be active, and those things just help balance us out.
Yeah, and I want to go right to the root of that. It comes down to behaviors and habits, right? You have the behavior, or the routine rather, to put your shoes on and go for that walk when you're feeling foggy, or when you're feeling some sort of way, you're discouraged or whatever, frustrated. You have that cue at that point to say, hey, I need to put on my shoes. I need to go for that walk. That's a hard thing for some people. We all have behaviors and routines. Some people don't have those good routines. Like, legit, all you got to do is put your shoes on and start. And then let your body, let your behaviors take over from there. Okay, I'm only going to do 2 minutes. Oh, you think so? Your mindset. Oh, you're only going to do 2 minutes. No, we're going for a walk now. Now that you've got yourself to this point, now we're going to carry on. And it brings me to my next point. Reduce your screen time. So when you're feeling some sort of way, we're very attracted to screen time. We're very attracted to cell phones, video games, television, computers. We're very attracted to those things. And a lot of the things that we're attracted to in life, they don't provide a whole lot of value. Now, am I saying the screen time doesn't provide value? No, I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is we're attracted to overconsumption of screen time. So start limiting your screen time. Like, you're listening to this on Apple Pod, you're listening to this on YouTube. What I encourage you to do, post podcast, shut off the screen. Disconnect completely for the screen for 30 minutes and engage with the outdoors, or engage with a treadmill. Go and just do a walk. There's no just in going for a walk, because the mental stability, the mental endurance, the mental strength that you get from these from the workout and for the reduction of screen time, that's the big bang here. A lot of people think, well, I gotta go train for a marathon. No, not necessarily. Not necessarily. Disconnect from the screen, go for a 10 to 15 minute walk.
Yeah, no, that, and I remember when you did that challenge, man, that was a big hit, man,
Mhm,
because for so many times we don't think about that aspect, that's part of, so it's become so ingrained in our lives, it's our alarm clock. It's
mhm,
the first thing we see in the morning, last thing before we lay down. But
mhm.
taking that break, man, is super imperative for just, I mean, mental health,
Yeah.
because I know people that, and this is why we have a hard time with our program, but we're working on that. But people are traumatized by Facebook because Facebook is if you allow it, and see it, I'm gonna put a pin, I'm gonna come back to it. But people are traumatized by Facebook because their timeline, they see, what happened, who got shot, killed, robbed,
Mhm,
stabbed,
mhm.
and it causes anxiety. And taking a break from Facebook, taking a break from those screens is super helpful with that. But the pin that I'm gonna go back to is you control your newsfeed. So that's a lesson for y'all. You
Mm,
control your newsfeed.
mm.
Facebook is a business. It will show you what you spend the most time on. If you don't like something, swipe past that bad boy or even block it. If you do that, you control your feed, man. And that's a tech lesson for the day. Whatever, like, because my wife do it. She be like, "Man, why this keep showing up on my phone? I can't." I like, "Babe, you telling Facebook you want to see it because it's staying on your screen,
Mhm,
and you showing me and you sending it to me." Facebook, oh, she must like this. No,
mhm.
that's
Yeah.
you control your feed by anything that's negative that you don't want. You swipe it away, swipe
Mhm.
it away, keep moving, and what you like and what you want to see more of, you like it, you save, you share. And while we're talking about that, make sure you follow us on Instagram, E2M Premium, at E2M Premium. Follow us on Instagram, eager. What is it? Eager
Eager to run.
to. Is that it? It ain't
Just run. Yeah,
official.
eager to run. We got to change. Eager to run.
Eager to run.
Eager to run.
E2M Fitness. Dwayne 21. What's yours?
Bradley Dean, and then don't ask me what's after that. It's just Bradley Dean something something. That was the only thing available, man. I had to snatch it when I
I
could.
know. I know. But yeah, so if you want your news feed, you want your feed to be positive, man. You follow
Mhm,
positive people, you follow positive
mhm.
stuff. Brad, I'm gonna throw it back to you. My eggs are going off. I need to catch it real quick.
Very good, man. And one thing that Dwayne had said months ago was something about algorithms. You're in control of your algorithms, and not just on social media, but in life. And you can actually take it a step further. Your Facebook or your Instagram, your social medias in general, they have defaults. Right, where you can literally shut down your algorithms and go back to the default setting. Well, you can do that also in life. You can go back to that
Mm,
default setting. So if you're, hey, where your focus goes, your energy flows. We've said that time and time again. Eric Thomas
for
says
sure.
it. Tony Robbins says it. But that the same applies here. You can go back to that default setting at any time if you're pouring your time, your focus, your energy into people that are vampires sucking your energy, and those
Mm,
naysayers, those doubters. You can say, hey, you know what? I love you so much, but I can't be around this until
mm-mm,
until I have the discipline and until I get myself out of that dark corner. I can't be around you. You doubt me every step of the way. You say I can't do this. You say I can't do that. I need to cut you out for a couple of days. I need to cut you out for a couple of weeks. Once I can establish my footing, once I can start to gain some traction, I start to get those positive algorithms. Then
mm-hmm.
I'll accept that back into my life slowly. But you know what? My man Jamal King. I've been hot on Jamal King lately because he's somebody that I really inspire to be like, and just really enjoy listening to. But one of the things that he says is your obedience is connected to so many others' destiny. And the reason that
Mm,
he said that is because there's so many people that will start a journey, right? There's so many people that will start a journey and they'll just kind of fizzle out, but you don't realize the impact and the positive influence or negative influence. You don't understand the impact or the influence you have on so many other people's destiny. And the reason that I continue to show up, whether it's physically or whether it's a motivational post or whether it's a silly story about my kids or my past, like the reason I continue to do that is because I know that somewhere along the way, I may just inspire one person, encourage
mm-hmm.
one person to take one step out of the darkness. And sometimes that's all you need. You need to take one step out of the darkness to create that momentum to get yourself on the right path.
Yeah, yeah. And see, even for me, uh, I I'm actually thinking about not the person that I might be inspiring, but the fact that someone is actually watching me.
Yeah.
That's mine. Like I know that people watch,
Mhm.
and they're watching me, and whether it's out of love or out of hate,
Mhm.
they're
Mm.
both are audiences,
Mhm.
and so uh that's one of the things that motivate me to keep going, and that's why I'm so transparent online when it
Mhm.
comes to my fitness journey. Is because when you put yourself out there like that, like people be checking for you, like people, it's so funny. We go to meetups, and I be trying to, like, have a small talk, tell people about stuff, and they be like, "Oh yeah, I know already." Like, oh, like like they're already a part of my life because I put so much out, and so that aspect of it is just, is one of those things that will also help on the mental,
Mhm.
if you are out there, and you're in social, that it's almost like it's almost like positive pressure,
Mhm.
just a little bit of positive peer pressure, a little bit of positive pressure, and that in itself will help you excel.
Mhm. Just to tie in what you're talking about, and one of the things that I've been preaching big time lately is just connection, right? The insulation that we have in our lives, but the connections that we make throughout this journey are so valuable. Because the people that we're connecting with are very like-minded, right? And those are the people that
Hmm.
we need to be around. We
Yep.
can't be around the naysayers anymore. Like there's too many naysayers in the world. Like I want to be an Iron Man. Well, hey Brad, maybe you should do a half Ironman, or maybe you shouldn't do it at all. Like that's really hard. Yeah, I get it. Like I want to write a book now, and this goes way back to high school, man. I was a junior in high school, and I went to my English teacher, and I was like, hey, I want to write a book. I want to publish a book. I want to be an author. And she laughed at me. She like low key was like, hey, that ain't for you. That ain't for you. And like the thing is like when you have somebody that you look up to, or somebody that you kind of value as far as being a leader or being your teacher, um, it really puts a scar on you, man. It really leaves
Yeah.
a lasting impact. And so she told me pretty much, no, that's not for you. And I was like, if she tells me it's not for me, it's definitely not for me. Like
Right.
she knows far more than I'll ever know. And then
Right.
fast forward, of course, 18 years, and I stand in front of the screen now as a published author. And I'll never hold it over her head because I just think that dream was too big for her. It was never too
Yeah.
big for me. It was always too big for her. And I think that's where we get caught up sometimes because you talk about those haters. They're not really low key hating. What they are
Mm.
doing is they don't want you to level up because it's going to force them to level up, and they're going to have to go through that pain. They're going to have to go through that discomfort, right? They don't want D to level up because that means, oh man, he's leveling up. I should probably try to level up myself. And some people just they can't even comprehend what it takes to level up, and they don't want to level up, man. So that's why I think a lot of people like to drag us down.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And just like you said, project their fears on you.
Mhm.
I always bring up, I don't always, but I bring up the story. Jay-Z was talking about his uncle. And he told his uncle he wanted to be a rapper. He was like, man, you're not good enough to be a rapper. No, he said he wanted to sell 1 million records because he was
Mm,
already out. He's like, I want to sell
mhm.
1 million records. And he's like, man, you can't sell 1 million records. Like, ain't no way. And he was like, man, I sold 1 million records 1 million times. Like, like it was his fear, and the
Mhm.
thing, and like he mentioned in the interview, it wasn't that his uncle didn't love him. It wasn't that he wasn't, he was trying to hate on him. It was
Mhm.
just it didn't make sense to him. It,
Right.
it it was his fear that he was projecting on him, and he didn't want him to fall short,
Mhm.
to that goal. So he just kind of like, oh, let me level you out a little bit,
Yeah. Yeah.
and to your teachers, to her decision to say that, we're in a different time as well, so like it was much harder to get published back then.
Oh,
Not saying you
yeah, I'm sure it
couldn't
was.
during
Right,
that
right, right,
time
right, right.
frame.
Yeah. Well, and I think, like, when you think of something like that, I just think that, like, it's so far outside like, the norm of reality, like, you just can't even
Hmm.
comprehend it, right? Like, you can't even,
Hmm.
like it's just I don't know, man. Like it's like some of the relationships we have established over the last handful of years. Like 10 years ago, I would have never dreamt or never imagined some of the conversations that we've had we've had NFL football players on this podcast. We've had
Mm-hmm.
professional speakers on this. We've had some really high level people reach out to us and
Mm-hmm.
say, "Hey, I want to be connected to you somehow, some way." So that's a really neat thing. And this kind of brings me to my last thing that I want to talk about today. And it's be uncommon. You talk about Jay-Z and his uncle wanted him to like kind of level out and like just sort of fit in, right? And I think a
Mm-hmm.
lot of us are just trying to fit in. We just want to be like, we just want to be a part of the rest of the crowd. But today I encourage everybody that listens to this podcast, stand out. Be a little different, be a little uncommon, because those uncommon people that are not afraid to chase their dreams, those are the people that we're all talking about, right? Those people that
Mm-hmm.
are at the top of the totem pole, they didn't get there without some hard work and some self-affirmation, some belief in their own abilities and their own uncommon will. But it,
Mm-hmm.
it it doesn't come without facing your fears, coming out of those deep dark corners. And some of these people that we look at and they're like, man, that guy or that gal, mighty successful.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know the time, the effort spent behind the scenes. We don't know that, right? And I'll use Tiger Woods for an example. He was cream of the crop for many years. And then all of a
Mm-hmm.
sudden he kind of started to decline. Well, all of a sudden, not on the news, things started to become exposed a little bit more. And you just never know what somebody's going on, but what's going on behind the scenes. In my tip of the day is, like you had said, be vulnerable, put it out on social media, a little bit of positive peer pressure. I like that. And make sure that you follow up with your routines and your behaviors. Make sure you
Yeah,
follow up and be obedient to what you said you're going to do. Follow through with what you said you're going to do, and believe in yourself.
I like it, man. I like it. All right, y'all. We're gonna hit this quick commercial break, and then we're gonna close up out of here.
So the virtual part of it, of E2M, is just amazing because I can just do it in the comfort of my own home. I wake up, I get ready, I stretch, I drink some water, and right in my other room, I just work out, and it's just so easy, and then I can go right to work.
Helps me with my crazy work schedule that I can go back on replay if I can't make it onto the live sessions. And there's just no excuses. So every time I want to make an excuse now, I'm like, I can literally go anytime that I want.
We could do it anywhere. Anywhere.
Yeah.
Our living room became our gym.
I was on vacation and I just did the workout.
Yep. And if you fall off, you can always get back on. That's the beautiful thing.
Get fit at home with E2M Fitness.
All right, y'all. So listen, as we get ready to close it out, man. First of all, I didn't start it on the show, but I definitely love to thank you guys for checking this out. Man, keep commenting on the video, liking and sharing. That helps us humongously. Have to shout out my good friend Candy. She made a post. She commented. She was all over it this week. Big salute and shout out to you, my friend. She's actually not too far from me, Brad. She's from my hometown area. So big shout out to Candy Parker. But yeah, man, I'm excited. Just continue to jump on and encourage and motivate you guys. And it's a privilege, man. It's a blessing. It's a privilege. And I do have some exciting news. This is breaking exciting news. You guys are getting exclusive. So there is a way that you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's pretty much like a little paid subscription. Not trying to sell anything, but I'm actually going to start putting some of Brad's spin and tread in that paywall there. And so here's the thing. If you have a Peloton, Peloton just recently did an update, and you can now watch YouTube videos via Peloton. So you could actually spin with Brad, get on the tread with Brad on your big screen if you are a subscriber. So look into that. Like I said, not trying to sell anything, but if you're interested in getting those videos on your Peloton through our YouTube channel, that is going to be available by the time you hear this. So exclusive right there. All right, Brad, close us out, brother.
Love it. I was going to give a shout out to LaShondra Parker, which just happens to be Candy Parker. So shout out to you, Candy. I appreciate you guys, man, be uncommon, plain and simple, be uncommon. Look to stand out a little bit more today than you did yesterday.
I love it. All right, y'all. We out.